Good morning. Okay, today we're going to cover 3.4, which is determine the equation of a line. So yesterday, what did you do? You looked at slopes of lines and you determined when lines were parallel, what the slopes were. The slopes are the same for parallel lines, remember? And you also looked at positive, negative slopes and slopes that were zero. So today we're going to put it all together. You're going to be able to determine the equation of a line from its graph, which you've actually already done. You're going to determine the equation of a line if I give you the slope and 1 point. And you can determine the equation of a line given 2 points. So there's a lot going on here. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, do the minds on for lesson 3.4, please. Pause the video and do that, and we'll take it up in a sec. So here's the minds on. It says, give the equation of two parallel lines with a positive slope. Well, a positive slope just means that your number is positive in front of the x. So we could give something like y equals, I don't know, let's say 3x plus 5. And if I wanted to give the equation of another line that's parallel to that, then it has to have the 3x part, and the number at the end is the y-intercept, and it can be any number other than plus 5. So I'm picking minus 1. Okay? So give the equation of two parallel lines with a slope of 0. This would be something like this. Y equals 2. That's got a slope of 0 because there's no x term. And another line that has a slope of 0 is y equals negative 5. Okay, both slopes of 0 because there's no x term. These are not the only answers. You might have had something very completely different, and as long as you had numbers that were the same here and numbers that were different here, your answer would be correct. And for this one, oopsie, as long as you have no x term and you've got two different numbers for y, then that would be correct. Last one, give the equation of two parallel lines with a negative slope. So that's going to be similar to the first one. But of course your numbers are going to be negative. So it could be negative a half even, x minus 6, and y equals negative a half again, x plus 6. How about that? All right, but again, your answers might look different and still be right. Okay, let's look at the lesson. Get your note, please. The first part of this is just review. We know, of course, the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And to get a graph, to graph something, we need to know the y-intercept and the slope. And if we're given a graph and we want to find the equation, we locate the y-intercept first, and then we figure out what the slope is. So I'll do the first one for you, and then you can do the second one. So I'm looking at this line. I have to figure out what the slope is. First of all, why don't I just figure out what the y-intercept is? Now this might be hard for me because, is that minus 5? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 5. So this value here is minus 4, right? We went down 4. So my b, my y-intercept is minus 4. What's my m? Well, I could take that point, and now I just scan along here, and again, I'm looking for a place where this line actually crosses at the intersection of a grid line. And I see here's a good one. I might have missed another one along the way, but that's okay. So now I'm just going to draw my triangle. So you remember how to do that. We're going straight up or straight down from the other point, whichever. And we're going across to the point. So I went up and I went right. So now I know that this is ones. This scale is going up by ones, so I can just count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my slope is rise, which is 10, and run, which is 6. Now this happens to be a fraction that can be reduced, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to see if I can extend this. So my slope can be reduced to m equals, if 2 goes into the top and the bottom, 5 over 2. My b doesn't change, and I'm going to put that into an equation. So y equals, this is the slope, so this is the one that has the x attached to it, and then minus 4. I wouldn't write y equals 5 halves x plus minus 4 like that, okay, because we don't generally do that. Instead of a plus minus, we just write minus. All right. Oopsie. Okay, so that's 5x minus 4. Okay, you guys pause the video now. Go ahead and try to find the equation of b, please. Okay, so I'm going to try and figure this out. I can see that my line crosses the y-axis at 0. That's awesome. So my b, my y-intercept, is 0. My m, well, I know I can start with that y-intercept point. That's 1 point on my line. And let me just see if I can go along here and see, wow, there's a whole bunch of choices here. All of them, in fact, look like they cross at the intersection of grid lines. So why don't I just pick something like this? And I'm just going to draw my triangle again. This time maybe I'll go up from here. So up and left. So up and left. So my slope is up, which is 1, 2, 3. Each of these squares is worth 3. My left is 1, 2, 3. I'm going left, so that's negative. And the slope then is going to be negative 1. So put all this together in an equation, and you get y equals negative 1x plus 0, but we wouldn't leave it like that. We don't write the negative 1, we just write negative x, and you don't put plus 0. So the final answer, hopefully you got it, was y equals negative x. All right. We can always go back and check our answer too and make sure, like if we look at this graph, you can see that this is a negative slope, right? As we move along here along our x-axis, our y's are getting smaller and smaller. So that's a negative slope. All right, let's move on to the next page. So in this instance, you are going to be given a slope and a point. So let's look at this example. Let's read through what this says. These are the little hints here for you to tell you what to do. So if you're given a slope and a point, you're going to make a table of values using x values that increase by 1. You're going to put the given point xy into the table of values in the appropriate row, and you are going to work backwards using the slope to fill in the table of values. And remember, your y-intercept is the y value in your table where x equals 0. All right, so we're trying to figure out the equation of a line with a slope of 2 that passes through the point 4, 1. All right, so I'm going to put in, if I put in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, what I'm doing here is I'm just picking, not so randomly, I know that I need the x value of 4 in my table, and I also know I need the 0 in my table because where x is 0, that's the y-intercept, and I've got to figure out what the y-intercept is. Okay, so now I'm going to put in what I know, which is that when x is 4, y is 1. I get that from over here, right? Now I've got a slope of 2, so what that means is 1 minus something is going to give me that rate of change or slope of 2. So I could think about that. 1 minus I don't know what equals 2. Well, 1 minus 1 is going to equal 2 because 1 minus minus 1 is 1 plus 1. Okay. So I know this is minus 1. Okay? 1 minus minus 1 is 2. I'm going to keep going that way, and I'm going to decrease each of these values then by 2. So this becomes minus 3, this becomes minus 5, and this becomes minus 7. So let's just check. Negative 1 minus minus 3 is negative 1 plus 3. That's 2. Negative 3 plus 5. That's 2. Negative 5 plus 7. That's 2. So my slope is 2. We knew that. We were given that. Right? Here it is right there. The y-intercept, I go to where my x is 0, and I look at the corresponding value for y. So that's minus 7. So my y-intercept is minus 7. And my equation then, you just throw it all together, 2x minus 7. Alrighty. Let's see if you can do one. So try this one, please. I know this is hard. If you have to go back and look at the example that I did, just go back and redo it again. But try this, please. Pause the video now and go back and see if you can do this one. All right, let's check and see if you got this right. So we need negative 1 in here for our x's, and I need 0. So that means that I might have something like this. 0, minus 1, minus 2, 1, 2. Let's try that, okay? So if I have negative 1, I have 3. That's from up here. It's a slope of 1, which means this is 1 always. And remember how we figure out slope. It's the second y minus the 1 on top, right? So what number minus 3 will give you 1? You got it, 4. So it's going up by 1s if we're going this way. It's going down by 1s if we're going this way. So what we really need is we need this value here, because we have the slope already and all we need is the b. So we've got m is 1, the b is 4, and we get y equals 1x plus 4, but we don't write the 1, right? That wouldn't be correct if we left it like that. Our final answer should be y equals x plus 4. Okay? All right. I do believe that's the last of it. Just double check that. Oh, I lied. Sorry. Let's do another one. This time you're given 2 points on the line. So what you're going to do is you're just going to plot the 2 points on the graph. You're going to join the points, and you're going to extend the line so that it crosses the y-axis. And you're going to figure out what that y value is where it crosses the y-axis, because that's your y-intercept. And then you're just going to look at your graph using and figure out the slope using rise over run like you've done before. All right, so let's try this. Determine the equation of the line passing through the points 2, 4, and 1, 1. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these points. I'm just going to see if I can move this over slightly. There, that's good enough. So 2, 4, and 1, 1. So I'm going to go ahead and start plotting those points. So 2, 4 is here, and 1, 1 is here. So we'll call that R2, 4, and S1, 1. And if I join those points, now I don't have a good ruler, obviously. You guys should use a ruler because accuracy matters here. So let's just go with, I'll try this one. Not bad. So there we go. Something like, ooh, you had it there. That looks pretty good. And so I'm going to put arrows on the ends of each of those lines. And let's see what we've got here. So we've got a line that passes through those 2 points, S and R, and we should be able to figure out the equation because we've got these 2 points. So we can draw our triangle. We know these 2 points are nice ones, so we'll use them. And let's go down from here and go left. So if I'm going down from there, my slope, M, is going to be 1, 2, 3. So I'm going down 3. So that's negative 3. And then I'm going left 1. Well, that's just 1. Oops, no, it's not. It's -1. I went left, silly me. So now, when I look at that and I simplify that fraction, I get 3. Okie dokie, that means my slope is 3. Is this a positive slope? Yes, so this makes sense to me. Now I have to figure out what my b is, and that's just a matter of looking at my graph now that I've extended it so that it does cross the y-intercept. So my b, or the y-axis, sorry, is -2, because that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. That's my y-intercept. So the equation, now that I have my m and my b, is going to be y equals 3x minus 2. Okay? Done. No, I shouldn't say that. I have to check. Oh, you guys have to try one. Sorry. All right, guys. So go ahead, pause the video, come back when you're done and see if you got it right. Okay, so let's determine the equation of the line passing through the points -4, 4 and -2, 2. So we're just going to do our first step, which is plot these points. So -4 and 4. There we go. And -2 and 2. So those are my 2 points. I'm going to join them with a nice straight line, and I'm going to there we go. I'm going to put some arrows on the end of this line and this line. I should label the 2 points. So this is -4 and 4. This is -2 and 2. And now I'm just going to use my triangles to figure out the slope. So I'm going to go down from here and right. So let's see, when I figure out the slope, I went down 1 square, 2 squares. So that's -2 because I was going down. And I'm going right 2 squares as well. So that's +2. So my slope, -2 over 2, simplifies to -1. So I've got my slope. Does it make sense that this slope is negative? Yes, it does. All right. So now B, y-intercept. I can see that my graph crosses the y-axis here at the origin, and at the origin the y is 0. So my final equation would be y equals -x plus 0. I can put the -1x and the plus 0 in as my sort of my first crack at it, but you know that you should simplify that to -x and then don't add the 0. So it's just the equation y equals -x. Surely to heavens that's it. Yes. All right. So please, as per usual, do your consolidate for 3.4. We're almost finished, by the way. We've got one more lesson, and then we will be having some review time and a test. So you're going to do your consolidate, you're going to do your classwork for 3.4. Check your unit outline for the questions. And is that all you're going to do? I think that's it. Put your consolidates on my desk when you're done. Okay, thanks for your patience. Talk to you later. Bye.